Oh, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Shri Radha Madhava Ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatambarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militangina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Today is Canto 10, and it's Chapter 10, Deliverance of the Yamalarjun Trees. Are you ready? Hanyante pasavo yatra nirdhyayar ajitatmabhi manyamanayar imang deham jaram mrityu nashvaram. Hanyante pasavo yatra nirdhyayar ajitatmabhi manyamanayar imang deham ajarar mrityu nashvaram. Okay, one of the gents. Mataji's. One of the guys. Manyantri pasavo yatra nuyayar ajitatmabhi manyamanayar imang deham ajaram mrityu nashvaram. Mataji's. Anyate pasavo yatra nirjayar ajitatmabhi manyamanayar imang deham ajaram mrityu nashvaram. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Manyante are killed in many ways, especially the slaughterhouses. Pashabaha, four-legged animals, horses, sheep, cows, hogs, etc. Yatra, wherein, nirdayahai, by those merciless persons who are conducted by the sense, conducted by the mode of passion. Ajita atmabihi, rascals who are unable to control the senses. Manyamanahai are thinking. Imam, this, deham, body. Ajara will never become old or diseased. Amrityu, death will never come. Nishvaram, although the body is destined to be annihilated. Translation. Ooh. Unable to control their senses, rascals were falsely proud of their riches or their birth in aristocratic families are so cruel that to maintain their perishable bodies, which they think will never grow old or die, they kill poor animals without mercy. Sometimes they kill animals merely to enjoy an excursion. Hare Krishna. Please repeat. Unable to control their senses. Rascals were falsely proud of their riches or their birth in aristocratic families, are so cruel that they maintain their miserable bodies, which they think will never grow old or die. They kill poor animals without mercy. Sometimes they kill animals merely to enjoy an excursion. Okay. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We will not put the purport. You guess it. Okay? Is that okay? All right. What? Ew. Out. We're going to make this interactive. Okay? When the modes of passion and ignorance increase. Crease. You know, crease. You have creases in your clothes. Okay, it's increase. When they increase in human society, giving rise to unnecessary economic development, the result is that people become involved with wine, women, and gambling. Then, being mad, they maintain big slaughterhouses or occasionally go on pleasure excursions to kill animals. Forgetting that, however, one may try to maintain the body is subject to birth, to which one is it? Old age and disease. Very good. But such foolish rascals engage. You get it? Okay. Such foolish rascals engage in sinful activities one after another. Being duskritis, they completely forget the existence of the supreme controller who is sitting within the core of everyone's heart. Ishvara sarvabhutanam rajeshwarajana tishtati. That supreme controller is observing every bit of one's activities. And he rewards or punishes every one by giving a suitable body made of material nature. Brahmanyan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. In this way, sinful persons automatically receive punishment. Let's see. Here we are. That supreme controller is observing every bit of one's activities, and he rewards or punishes everyone by giving one a suitable body made of material nature. In this way, sinful persons automatically receive punishment in different types of bodies. The root cause of this punishment is that when one unnecessarily accumulates wealth, one becomes more and more degraded, not knowing that his wealth will be finished with his next birth. Nasadu manye yata atmanoyam asanapi klishana asadeha. That's from the Bhagavad Gita 5:5-4. Animal killing is prohibited. Every living being, of course, has to eat. Very good. Something, jivasha, jivanam. But one should be taught what kind of food one should take. Therefore, the Ishopanishad instructs Tena Tyaktina Bunjita. One should eat whatever is allotted for human beings. Says in Bhagavad Gita 9:26. Patram pushpam palam toyam yom me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti uparitam ashtami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. A devotee, therefore, does not eat anything that would require slaughterhouses for poor animals. Rather, devotees take prasad of Krishna, Tena Kyektena Bunjita. Krishna recommends that one give him patrang pushpam palam toyam, a leaf of flower, fruit, or water. Animal food is never recommended for human beings. Instead, a human being is recommended to take prasada, remnants of food left by Krishna. Yagya Shistashina Santo Muchante Sarvakil Bishahai. Chapter 3, text 13. If one practices eating prasadam, even if there's some little sinful activity involved, one becomes free from the results of sinful acts. End of purport. Highlights. Thank you for helping us with this. 2 pages from the Bhagavatam. Wow. Now we'll talk a little bit about some of the points here. So we have been dealing with the story of the Nalakuvara Manigriv, and Narada Muni has something to say. If a sadhu doesn't have anything to say, what kind of a sadhu is he really? The last time I walked across Canada, and I ended up having a program at someone's home, which is right at the edge of a beautiful lake. And it was promoted through the local newspaper. This is a place called Fort Francis. And it was very interesting. The host was a guy, and his family was living there. He said, well, when someone approached me about maybe using my house for a program like Bhakti Yoga program, and that the honored guest would be a monk, I questioned what is going to happen because I thought monks don't say anything. Thought that monks make a vow of silence, right? So I clarified for him. I said, "Oh, we're a different kind of monk here. We make lots of noise all the time." So we did end up talking philosophically. We did end up chanting, and it all worked out really, really well. In fact, it was swell. Okay. Narada Muni's speaking like a great Acharya, giving some guidelines about, the kind of things we should eat, right? Another time when I was walking on that road in Canada, I met a fellow and he stopped by. He said, "Weren't you on this road about 9 years ago?" I said, "Well, yes, I was, as a matter of fact." "That's very sharp of you." And we got to talking, and it was really great. He was a very nice guy. And he was trying to find out a little bit more about myself and vice versa. So he said, "Well, you'll have to excuse me, but I'm one of the local people that hunt moose and eat moose." I said, "Well, I won't hold it against you. I'm not going to be judgmental. You seem to be a nice human being. You stopped to talk to me. So that's a nice gesture." So we kind of became friends. In fact, I thought he was such a nice person. Um, like we had a better conversation than I have with some devotees. I'll be honest with you, honest. There are some devotees on the planet that love to complain. Have you met them before? On the internet, they just, everything negative. Negative. Everything they put out there is negative. So people always absorb this negativity. You're going to run into the modes of passion and ignorance, like fault finding is against our rules, especially for those who are practicing Krishna consciousness. Anyways, we got to talking, and I told, well, he said, "I have to go." And I also have to go, my dear friend. I have to keep walking because my support person's down the road. He's expecting me to finish a few kilometers at a certain time. I said, "Well, that's great." So then we parted. He was in his van driving, and I was just on the side of the road. And I said, "So listen, I hope this is the best day of your life." Okay? "Well, thank you." Then he drove off, went a few meters down the road. Then he did a U-turn. He came back. I said, "That's the nicest thing that anyone ever told me." You know? So here you have somebody who's eating moose, and they're beautiful animals. They really have these big antlers. And they're kind of like yogis. Moose, they don't go in herds. You know that? They go solo. They're like yogis. And once in a while they get into trouble with a pack of wolves. Then they could really be in trouble. The wolves will come around and they'll bark and they'll go at it, the animal, and tire him out. And then when he's kind of like down on the ground, they just go for the kill. Hare Krishna. Shri Radha Govinda ki. So that's the life in the wilderness. But these moose, they tend to be loners. Even mama moose with her baby, one or two, they tend to not go in a herd. We're all crowd together, they all roam together. They are like that. That's their nature. Some of us are like that too. Some of us are loners. Some of us are a little reserved. Do we have any people like that here? Any reserved people? Or is everybody very sociable? Hey, Prabhu, blah, 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 blah. Do we have any reserved kind of people here? Yogis? Maybe you want to translate. Yeah, just translate.
हरे कृष्णा। तो महाराज पूछ रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे कोई ऐसा भक्त है जो अकेला रहना पसंद करता है, एकांत पसंद है उसको, शांति शांति।
Do we have any people like that here? You put up your hand. You have to be proud of yourself, not a problem. You're a quiet type, you're a quiet type, you're a quiet type. Are you quiet? Okay, great. Should I ask your husbands or wives or gurus if this is true?
महाराज पूछ रहे हैं क्या वो आपके गुरु से, हस्बैंड से, वाइफ से पूछेंगे सही है कि नहीं।
Okay, listen, it doesn't matter if you're a reserved or shy type of a loner type. It doesn't matter as long as you do seva.
कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है अगर आप शांत स्वभाव के हो, अगर आप अकेला रहना पसंद करते हैं, अगर आप सेवा करते हैं तो।
I would love to go back to that road again. The last time was 2012. I'd love to go back there again and see if I can see my old friend who hunts moose and eats them.
मैं चाहता हूं कि मैं फिर से उस रोड पे जाऊं, उस रास्ते पे जाऊं जहां पे मैं उस मित्र से मिला था 2012 में, जो मूस को हंट करता था, और उससे बातें करूं। ऐसे महाराज की इच्छा है।
You can look on your phone, moose, M-O-O-S-E. So to get
आप
an
लोग अपने
idea.
फ़ोन पे मूस देख सकते हो, MOOSE। वो एक्चुअली में कनाडा का एक एनिमल है, जानवर है, जो वहीं पाया जाता है, काफ़ी शांत स्वभाव का होता है।
Because he was such a nice person. And I'm sure that if I spent a little more time with him, I could maybe convince him that Krishna is a superhero.
वो इतना अच्छा इंसान था कि मुझे लगा कि एक बार मैं फिर से उससे मिलूं और उसके साथ बैठ के बातें करूं तो मैं कन्विंस कर सकता हूं, उसे समझा सकता हूं कि कृष्णा सबसे अच्छे भगवान हैं, वंदनीय हैं।
And that I could get him to love Krishna.
देन फिर महाराज कह रहे हैं कि फिर मैं उससे बात करके उसको भगवान कृष्ण को प्रेम करने के लिए बोलूँगा।
Just reading the 10th canto, Prabhupada's presentation on Krishna, it makes some people want to embrace Krishna.
सिर्फ 10वां जो कैंटो है वो पढ़ने के बाद कई लोगों को भगवान कृष्ण से को एक्सेप्ट करते हैं, उनको पसंद करने लगते हैं, तो वो पढ़ूंगा मैं।
Our philosophy is like that. We just don't tell people, how does it go? Nabudi Bedam Janiyat. From the 3rd chapter, Bhagavad Gita, I'm quite sure, Krishna says, do not discourage people, but encourage them on the path of bhakti.
भगवान कृष्ण बोलते हैं किसी को भी हतोत्साहित मत करो, बल्कि उत्साहित करो भक्ति के लिए।
Does that make any sense?
क्या मतलब कुछ सही लग रहा है ये? It makes sense to you all?
Okay. So then eventually the bad habits will go.
तो इसी प्रकार से धीरे धीरे सारी जो बुरी आदतें हैं वो समाप्त हो जाएंगी।
There's different kinds of people that we approach. There's one kind where you can say, listen, you give up eating meat and animals and fish and dogs and whatever else, and then you can become a devotee.
हम लोग कभी कभी कई बार कुछ लोगों से मिलते हैं और बोलते हैं कि तुमको जो है मीट छोड़ना है, फिश छोड़ना है, कुत्तों का खाना छोड़ना है, और फिर तुम भक्त बन सकते हो। ऐसा हम अप्रोच करते हैं।
The alternative approach is, here is Krishna. He's just so wonderful. What do you think?
तो एक अल्टीरियर मतलब एक दूसरा तरीका ये है कि आप सीधे उनको कृष्ण बोलो कि ये कृष्ण है और उनके बारे में बताओ। तो वो एक तरीका है बताने का।
And then you give, you tell them after they're a little hooked on Krishna, okay? So, it's not a bad idea to stop eating animals or at least reduce it.
और जब वो भगवान कृष्ण से आकर्षित हो जाएं तो फिर धीरे से बता सकते हैं कि ये सही नहीं है जानवरों का खाना, इसे कम कर सकते हो, कम करोगे फिर खत्म हो जाएगा।
Because Krishna's a lover of the animals. He loves the cows and the bulls.
क्योंकि कृष्ण जो हैं जानवरों से प्रेम करते हैं, वो गाय और बैल दोनों को प्रेम करते हैं।
Yeah, sometimes we say that in our culture we protect the cows.
कभी कभी हम लोग बोलते हैं कि हम अपने कल्चर में गो रक्षा करते हैं।
And then I get a little offended.
और फिर हम जो है थोड़ा ऑफेंड फील करते हैं।
Well, what about the bulls?
फिर हाँ, मतलब गायों के बारे में सोचते हैं फिर, लेकिन बैलों के बारे में नहीं सोचते हैं।
It sounds very sexist. Sexist, do they have that term?
हाँ, ये काफी मतलब कि जेंडर बायस लगता है, एक तरह से कह सकते हो।
Gender bashing against males.
ये मतलब कि जैसे कि स्त्रियों के प्रति हम लोग जेंडर बायस होते हैं, यहाँ पे हम लोग पुरुष जो बैल हैं उनके प्रति बायस्ड हैं।
There's an argument out there that only women give children.
ये कहा जाता है कि सिर्फ जो है स्त्रियां होती हैं वो जो है संतान उत्पन्न करती हैं।
But then the counter argument is, hello, do you know that if you want children, there has to be a daddy involved?
तो उसके जो आर्गुमेंट है, जब लोग बोलते हैं कि क्योंकि गाय बच्चा देती है तो इसलिए बोलते हैं रखना चाहिए, तो उसका विपरीत आर्गुमेंट ये है कि बच्चा खुद नहीं होता है, उसके लिए पिता चाहिए।
The cow gets pregnant by the bull, and then she'll have this extra milk for her baby.
So गाय जो है वो बुल के थ्रू इम्प्रेग्नेंट होती है और उससे उसको बछड़ा होता है, बछड़ी होती है।
But you need the bull.
इसलिए हमें we need the bull, बुल हमें चाहिए। सिर्फ
Okay, bull and cow.
गाय और सांड या बैल हमें चाहिए,
Otherwise, you're only living a half a truth.
नहीं तो आप आधा सत्य जी रहे हैं।
Okay, so in our tradition, we are allowed to not eat animals, cows and bulls, but we can take the milk.
हमारे संप्रदाय में या हमारे ट्रेडिशन में हम लोग को गाय बैल को खाना अलाउड नहीं है, लेकिन हम उनका दूध पी सकते हैं, गाय का।
Srila Prabhupada often quotes this verse to confirm that we are like on a vegetarian lifestyle.
श्रील प्रभुपाद ये श्लोक हमेशा कोट करते हैं कि हमारा जो दिनचर्या है वो शाकाहारी है।
For instance, like when we talk about a leaf, that's a vegetable, right?
जो लीफ है वो वेजिटेबल है।
When we talk about flowers, well, how many people eat flowers?
फूल कौन कौन खाता है?
Well, you do eat another kind of flour that makes a chapati, a roti dough, right? It's another kind of flour.
हम लोग दूसरी तरह के फ्लावर खाते हैं, जो आटा होता है, चपाती खाते हैं, उसको इंग्लिश में फ्लावर बोलते हैं।
And how many people like fruit?
हाथ उठाइए, कितने लोगों को फल पसंद है?
What's your favorite fruit? Watermelon, mango, pineapple. I'm with you. Anybody else? Favorite fruit? Orange? Oh, too sour for me. You can have it. What else? Banana? Good, good. I like, oh yeah, let's have some, boy. You're an orange man. Okay. Fantastic. So this is good. I mean, suddenly we talked about food and everyone perks up. Oh, wow.
यह आश्चर्य की बात है, सब कोई सो रहे थे, जैसे खाने के बारे में बात हुआ सब कोई जग गए।
And then on the list is water.
और उस लिस्ट में है वाटर, पानी।
Toyam, right?
तोयम।
Toyam. So we can say that that is milk fits into that category.
Sorry, Maharaj.
Milk.
सो इसको हम तोयम को कह सकते हैं कि दूध दूध पानी होता है, तो उस कैटेगरी में आ जाता है.
If other things were permissible, then Krishna would say it, but he's giving the menu for the human beings.
अगर बाकी चीज़ें जो हैं अगर कृष्ण अलाउड है हम लोग को, तो कृष्णा ने हमें आज्ञा दी होती है कि आप वो भी खा सकते हो.
Okay, let's say you go to a restaurant, okay, and they have a menu for 3 different kinds of people.
ये समझिए कि अगर हम रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हैं और एक मेन्यू है,
We have on the menu items for people in the mode of goodness, items for people who are in the mode of passion, and items for the people in the mode of ignorance. You can take your pick, get back to me, and I'll put in an order for you.
तो अगर आप रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हैं तो 3 कैटेगरी के मेन्यू होंगे. एक जो भोजन होगा वो एक सत्व गुण का होगा, एक रजोगुण का और तीसरा तमस गुण का. तो आपको पिक करना है.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Yes, in New York at the Bhakti Center, I believe it's still running. They have a restaurant where you have your choice of like for people on a certain diet, that if you have predominant kapha or pitta or vata.
Yes.
So they have it sort of like tailor-made for people who have different constitutions.
यस. तो न्यूयॉर्क में जो है ना, वहाँ पे जो मंदिर है, वहाँ पे जो डाइट होता है, वहाँ डाइट प्लान होता है. जैसे आपके शरीर में कफ वात पित्त होता है, तो जैसे आपके शरीर में जो ज़्यादा है उस हिसाब से आपको प्रसाद दिया जाता है.
Anyways, we live in the world of choice. So you can decide what kind of meal you want. Is it sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic?
हम लोग ऐसे भी हमारे पास चॉइस होता है और आप खुद सोच सकते हो कि हमें क्या चाहिए, सात्विक, राजसिक या तामसिक.
Right. And I would just like to caution the cooks, anybody who's listening to this meal, don't use too many chilies.
महाराज कह रहे हैं कि जो लोग प्रसाद बनाते हैं उनके लिए महाराज कॉशन दे रहे हैं कि आप लोग प्लीज मिर्च का बहुत कम इस्तेमाल करिए.
Let's say you have a newcomer coming here, some tourists from Australia or Canada, whatever, and they come to the restaurant, and they'll look at their menu. Oh, is this spicy food?
तो अभी देखिए बाहर से काफ़ी भक्त लोग आते हैं, कनाडा से कोई टूरिस्ट भी आता है, तो वो अगर आप मेनू देखेगा तो क्या देखेगा, बोलेगा बहुत स्पाइसी खाना है.
And then usually this is the answer you get anywhere in India. Very little spice, very little.
हाँ, और ये होता है इंडिया में अपने कि हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, बहुत ही कम मिर्च डाला हुआ है, बहुत ही कम, लेकिन सही हो जाता है वो भी बहुत ज़्यादा लगता है.
And then the person eats in full faith that it's not very spicy at all.
फिर वो जो भक्त है या जो टूरिस्ट है वो पूरे श्रद्धा के साथ खाता है कि इसमें कोई स्पाइस है नहीं.
And then they bite into the food which is not spicy, and they go, oh.
फिर वो जो है वो खाना, वो प्रसाद, वो जो भोजन है वो ले लेते हैं जो काफ़ी स्पाइसी होता है, सोच के कि वो स्पाइसी नहीं है, और फिर महाराज का रिएक्शन है,
Call the fire department.
फायर डिपार्टमेंट बुलाओ यहाँ पे.
Bring the biggest hose.
होज लेके आए वो पानी का.
Yeah. So I mean, my understanding is that chilies, of course, they fit into the rajasic category. They came from South America.
तो ये जो महाराज कहते हैं कि ये जिस तरह का जो भोजन होता है ना, वो श्योरली है, ये जो है रजस में ही आता है, जो साउथ अमेरिका से आया हुआ है.
But India embraced it like a baby.
और हाँ, और भारतवर्ष ने क्या किया, उसको ले लिया.
And the British brought tea, utapite.
और ब्रिटिश लोग जो अंग्रेज थे हमारे यहाँ क्या लेके आए, चाय लेके आए.
Chai. And in India, people have taken up chai more seriously than the British.
और भारतवर्ष में जो है हमने चाय को कुछ ज़्यादा ही गंभीरता से ले लिया है ब्रिटिश ब्रिटिश जो है इतना नहीं लेते हैं इसको.
It's true, isn't it? I'm
सही
telling
बात
any
है.
lies here. Okay, then the harmonium, which we use in kirtans or bhajans.
जो हारमोनियम हम लोग जो कीर्तन में इस्तेमाल करते हैं,
It was created in Europe, Germany, France, that area in the 1800s.
सो इसका आविष्कार जो है ना वो यूरोप में हुआ था, जर्मनी और फ्रांस में 1800 में हुआ था.
So in Germany, hardly anyone even knows what a harmonium is.
और जर्मनी में किसी को अभी किसी को नहीं पता कि हारमोनियम होता क्या है. आविष्कार वहाँ हुआ था.
But in India, I'm very much knowing harmonium.
और इंडिया में मुझे अच्छी तरह से हारमोनियम आता है.
I know how to play.
मैं जानता हूँ उसे कैसे बजाते हैं.
So you've got people in India who've got like let's say a passion for the harmonium, and basically it's not an Eastern musical instrument. You know that.
तो हम ये जो इंडिया में है क्या है कि हारमोनियम जो है वो तो ईस्ट 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 साइड का म्यूजिक नहीं है, हमारा म्यूजिक नहीं है. फिर भी हमारे अंदर पैशन होता है उसको बजाने का.
Yeah, and so it's interesting that India has taken up the harmonium and basically adopted it as if it's a sacred national symbol, practically.
ये बड़ा आश्चर्य और इंटरेस्टिंग है कि भारतवर्ष ने हारमोनियम को अडॉप्ट कर लिया जैसे कि कोई बहुत पवित्र उत्कृष्ट चीज है ये.
Why not change the flag, get rid of the chakra, and put a harmonium in the middle?
So they will change the फ्लैग को चेंज करके चक्र हटा देंगे और क्या लगा देंगे, हारमोनियम.
In Canada, we have a very simple flag, and it's quite beautiful and strong. There's two kind of like bars of red, and then in the middle is an image of a maple leaf.
सो कनाडा में जो है ना जो फ्लैग है वो दो बार इधर दो साइड में बार होता है, लाइन होती है और बीच में मैपल लीफ होता है. कैन एक्सप्लेन व्हाट इज मैपल लीफ? मैपल लीफ जो होता है, मैपल करके प्लांट होता है, पेड़ होता है. सॉरी मैं थोड़ा बोलूंगा. मोहब्बतें फिल्म देखी है आप लोगों ने? तो मोहब्बतें जो पत्ता जो आता है ना, जो लीव्स आते हैं वो मैपल के हैं. तो वो पत्ता है बीच में.
But some people in Canada, they choose not to honor the maple leaf, and they make their own flag with a marijuana leaf in the middle.
लेकिन कुछ लोग हैं कनाडा में जिनको वो मैपल लीफ भी पसंद नहीं है. उन्होंने क्या अपना खुद का फ्लैग बना रखा है जिसमें बीच में जो गांजा का पत्ता होता है, गांजा जानते होंगे आप, उसका पत्ता बना रखा है उन्होंने.
So again, you have your choice in which way to live, in goodness, passion, or ignorance.
सो आपके पास ऐसे ही आपके पास चॉइस है कि आप किस मोड में रहना चाहते हैं, गुडनेस, पैशन या इग्नोरेंस में.
So the mode of goodness, which basically spells out as being thoughtful, is the best position to be in for making spiritual advancement.
तो जो मोड ऑफ गुडनेस है वो सबसे अच्छा है क्योंकि हमें थॉटफुल बनाता है. हमें विचार थॉटफुल क्या बोलूं, विचार, हाँ विचार करने को कहता है सत्य गुण. तो सबसे बढ़िया वही है.
Right. So anyways, Prabhupada talks about there were these Gaudiya Math members, and they were trying to expand their proselytization, the mission, trying to spread it. So they went to some particular country where they serve, it's a delicacy. They have a pot, and you put a dead dog in there, and then you put a lid on it. So after some time, it starts to really get putrefied, right? And then if you lift the lid, it says, "Oh my God, oh gee," and that is a delicacy. So when the Gaudiya Math went to this particular country, like more in the Oriental line, when devotees were cooking puris in pure ghee, these people who love this delicacy of the dead dog went, "Oh my God," about the puris. "Oh my God, it stinks. Oh. It means they're in the mode of ignorance.
I think Maharaj, here everyone knows English now. Anyone has problem in understanding English? Huh? No.
You don't understand.
Huh?
Little bit.
Translate करूं क्या?
He's just asking the question because he doesn't want to translate it.
No, I can
Because it's
translate.
too long.
Maharaj.
Oh, come on.
I can translate. तो गौड़िया जो मठ है उन्होंने अपने प्रीचिंग क्या बोलते हैं कि अपना मिशनरी एक्टिविटीज़ के लिए मतलब प्रचार के लिए उन्होंने कुछ भक्तों को एक देश में भेजा जहाँ पे वो लोग कुत्ते को एक बर्तन में डालते थे और उसको सड़ाते थे और सड़ाने के बाद जो महक आती है वो उनको पसंद था तो वो भोजन करते थे वो लोग। तो वही उसी देश में जब ये भक्त गए उन्होंने क्या किया, पूड़ियाँ तली किसमें, घी में, शुद्ध घी में, तो उनको बदबू आ रहा था।
So those of you who have been vegetarian, prashadarians for some years, it's actually hard to fathom that people can eat animals.
तो हम लोग जो है जो प्रसादिटेरियंस हैं, हम वेजिटेरियन जो हैं और जो प्रसाद खाते हैं उनके लिए बड़ा मुश्किल होता है समझना कि ये कैसे संभव है कि लोग जो हैं मांस खाते हैं।
I was raised on a farm, and so we had cows, we had pigs, we had chickens, we had peacocks, we had pheasants, we have raccoons, we have what else? Rooster. What else? We had a pony, and we had a goat. It's a zoo. I was raised in the zoo.
तो महाराज जो है जहाँ पे ये बड़े हुए उनका जो घर था तो वो एक फार्म था, खेत, उनके पास खेत थे और वहाँ पे गाय, सुअर, बकरी और एक रैकून करके एक जीव होता है जो कनाडा में पाया जाता है वो, और घोड़े और पीकॉक मोर था और चिकन्स, हैन, ये सारे जो है ना जीवों के साथ महाराज बड़े हुए हैं।
Yeah, and I remember one time the pig, she had a litter of little piglets, and there was something wrong with her. I think she died, and so we had to bring the little pigs into our house. Little piglets.
Oh, piglets, they died?
Pigs, little pigs, the babies.
Okay.
They're so cute.
हाँ, तो कैसा हुआ कि एक बार क्या हुआ कि इनकी जो पिग थी, वो सुअर थी, वो बीमार हो गई थी, तो उसको केयर करने के लिए महाराज के घर पे उन्होंने जो छोटे से सुअर के बच्चे थे उनको घर में लेके आए थे हम लोग। ये महाराज की याद है।
And you just have to wonder, how can people eat this?
तो महाराज बोले फिर कैसे लोग सुअर को खा सकते हैं?
Cows, we get milk from them and then we eat them.
गाय से हमें दूध मिलता है, तो कैसे लोग गाय को खा सकते हैं?
It's very uncivilized.
बहुत ही uncivilized, बहुत ही असभ्य लोग हैं।
Yes. So we can be, now that we've been eating prasad, how many people like prasadam, by the way? If there's anybody who doesn't like prasadam, let's have a counseling session.
किसी को अगर प्रसादम पसंद नहीं है तो महाराज उसको जो है बात कर सकते हैं, वो काउंसलिंग करेंगे महाराज आप लोगों की।
So we love prasadam, and it's hard for us to fathom that people will eat animals.
तो ये बहुत मुश्किल है समझना कि कैसे कि लोग जानवर नहीं खाएंगे, ये समझना मुश्किल है।
Vidya vinaya sampane brahmane gavahastini shuni chaiva shvapakecha pandita samadarshina. And that means a pundit is a person who sees that the Lord is in all living beings. There's differences, such as the cow, the elephant, the dog, and then there's the Brahmin, very advanced, like we met that Brahmin who came.
Yes.
So pious, And then a person who eats dogs, like to us it's like unthinkable.
तो एक जो पंडित होता है वो सबको समान दृष्टि से देखता है, चाहे वो गाय हो, हाथी हो और ब्राह्मण हो, और चाहे वो जो कुत्ता खाने वाला हो, उन सबको समान दृष्टि से देखता है।
So thank Srila Prabhupada for bringing us this beautiful diet, this beautiful thing we call prasadam.
तो हमें श्रील प्रभुपाद को धन्यवाद करना चाहिए कि उन्होंने सबसे बढ़िया चीज़ दिया हमें, किसे बोलते कृष्ण प्रसादम.
Even if your chanting doesn't bring you back to Godhead, or your reading, or your puja, the prasadam will.
जो हम जप करते हैं अगर वो आपको भगवान के पास नहीं लाता है, चाहे पूजा जो करते हैं वो भगवान के पास नहीं लाता है, अगर कुछ भी हम जो करते हैं उससे भगवान के पास नहीं आते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी अगर हम सिर्फ प्रसाद लेते हैं उससे भी भगवान के पास जा सकते हैं.
So thanks to Srila Prabhupada and thanks to prasadam. Hare Krishna.
श्रील प्रभुपाद को धन्यवाद कहेंगे और प्रसादम को धन्यवाद कहेंगे. हरि बोल.
Honestly, if the food wasn't good here, many of you would leave. I think so.
महाराज कह रहे हैं कि अगर प्रसाद सही से नहीं बनेगा, उसका ध्यान नहीं रखा जाएगा तो बहुत लोग इस्कॉन छोड़ देंगे.
Indian cuisine is really nice.
भारत का जो भोजन है वो बहुत ही अच्छा है.
Sometimes though we deep fry too much.
और लेकिन कभी कभी बहुत ज्यादा उसको तल देते हैं, वो नहीं करना चाहिए.
And we use oil instead of ghee.
हम लोग ऑयल यूज करते, तेल यूज करते हैं घी के बदले.
And then we put too many sharks in there.
महाराज कह रहे हैं उसके बाद हम क्या करते हैं, बहुत सारे शार्क मछली डालते हैं. शार्क मतलब शार्क कहाँ डालते हैं हम लोग, क्या डालते हैं, चिलीज. महाराज चिलीज को शार्क कह रहे हैं.
Yeah, so I think we'll leave on that note. Does anybody have any questions?
किसी को प्रश्न है, महाराज पूछ रहे हैं.
Sí, señora.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for explaining things in very interesting way. So, in my mind, after hearing you, this type of inquiry came that I want to know more about you. If you can explain, it will be.
Me?
Yeah, means how long you are working like this, and
You have to read the book.
So, जिसको भी महाराज के बारे में जानना चाहते हैं, महाराज की बुक है द सैफरन पाथ. मुझे कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. प्रभु जी यहाँ बैठे हैं, उनको कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं.
We ran out of copies. Gauranga Prana.
स्टॉल में भी रखा हुआ है. आप वो रखेंगे? अच्छा, स्टॉल में रखेंगे हम लोग.
I started walking when I was 1 year old. And when I was 5 years old, I'd walk to school for 1 mile. And that's where my walking started. Walking is good for you on many levels. So walk. When you walk, you rock. And if you don't, then you rot. And I also believe that the more walking you do, the less squawking you'll do. Squawking means arguing, fighting. The more walking you do, either on your own or with someone else, the less there's a chance to get in a fight with people.
इसको थोड़ा इंग्लिश का है, वॉकिंग एंड कॉकिंग, बट हिंदी में से कहेंगे तो हम जितना चलेंगे उतना लड़ाई कम होगा. तो हमें खूब चलना चाहिए, महाराज का कहना है.
Okay, great. How many of you had a chance to see the drama yesterday?
कितने लोगों ने ड्रामा देखा था कल 6 बजे महाराज का?
Okay, not too many people. That's too bad. How was it?
कैसा था प्रभु, आप बताइए. बहुत अच्छा था.
Okay. Good, good. Thank you very much. I'll be leaving today to go back to Canada. And then I'll be back next year, if you'll have me.
हरि बोल. So महाराज कह रहे हैं कि अभी वो कनाडा वापस जा रहे हैं और आप सबको धन्यवाद बोल रहे हैं और अगले साल फिर आएंगे. हरि बोल.
Jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Hare Krishna. Srila
जय
Prabhupada ki.
जय